Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis Cohen, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. So glad y'all are here for another week. I have an exciting guest today, and I'm going to tell you what she is going to talk about in a little bit. But I bet everybody would say that the last couple of years, this year and last year, crazy challenging. I think most of us feel like we're swimming upstream. And what I'm so excited about today is that today is going to give you a way to stop feeling that. And I can tell you, I'm constantly seeing updates from astrologers that I know and follow, alerting me yet again of the next wave of ascension and expansion, things we got to look out for. And it all seems to happen over and over and over again this year, especially. It seems like every day there's a new warning about this planet squaring with that planet, and recommendations about how we need to be ready to watch our moods and tempers and prepare to release things and people that don't serve us anymore. And in all honesty, I think most of us are kind of pretty sick and tired of hearing that, dealing with our shadows, dealing with the tests and the hardships that have been put before us. And we all just want to break from the work. I know I do. Well, or at least have some sort of guidance about what to do during these ever-changing times. We have to learn how to ride a new wave of life. And that's what my guest today, India Leigh, is here to talk about. What to expect when you're expanding. Today, we will not only talk about what the heck expansion is, we are also going to talk about the actual process that you can use to open up your ears and everything else you need to open up, your eyes, your awareness, your sensitivities, and your guidance from your guides about what next steps to take to make this wave as smooth as possible. We're going to talk about soul lessons that are being experienced by all of us. And a very special part of today is when India is going to talk about how she uses her card readings to help her clients navigate these and other tough times. I have called on India several times to read for me when I haven't been able to find clarity on my own. And anybody who does readings knows that we can't read ourselves, so we got to have our resources. So I really have felt very confident in my experience with her. And I could tell you, it takes a great deal for me as a channeler to trust other channelers because of what I do. And so time and time again, she has just proven to be a very solid sounding board. And Spirit guided me to her. And I can say without a doubt that she's the real deal. She's direct. She explains things in a very clear, kind, and precise way. And she's spot on. So at the end of this podcast, I'm going to give you all the information that you need to contact her. I strongly advise that if you are struggling with anything in your life, whether it's clarity or whatever, she's not somebody who's going to tell you what to do, but she will share with you what she gets so that you can choose what to do. I'm so happy to have her as a guest today, and I can't wait for y'all to meet her. So here she is, India Leigh. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Janis. I'm so honored to be here. I'm just overjoyed that Spirit has made this happen and to get to enjoy this conversation with you.
So good. Been looking forward to it. So while we're going to talk about, like I said, the topic of what to expect when you're expanding, how to communicate with your guides and receive their messages as you move through your ascension and soul lessons, I just wanted to share with the readers, you're an intuitive reader, you're a clairvoyant, an empath, and you use an array of divination modalities and your psychic gifts to help your clients clearly understand the messages that are being sent by their spirit guide team. And I have to tell you, I get a lot of questions about, how do I get in touch with my spirit guide team? Who is it? Who are they? What are their names? What do they look like? And it's so funny because I can't always answer that. Really, most often I really can't. But you're able to kind of help people navigate that and understand that. And you also empower others to come into more connection with their own divine creative power, connecting with their energy, their thoughts, their words, aligning with everything that's in their greatest good, and highest purpose. And I know you've done that for me. And so I'm very excited for my people, my listeners, to be exposed to you and get the gift of the insight that you offer today. But tell me a little bit about how all this came about, because I know I have my own story. I was I was latent developing and being aware of my gifts. Tell the listeners about how you became you.
Yeah, it was exactly the same. I actually did not come into an awareness or an ability to access the gifts until I was 43. Yeah, because while as a child, I definitely was enchanted by what I could perceive. You know, I could perceive beings and I could perceive guidance coming in. I definitely formed my own relationship with a higher power because I wasn't raised in structured religion. And I would like check out I remember this one book I would check out from the library over and over again on ESP that like went through, you know, what telepathy is, what clairvoyance is, what all these things are. And I was just so fascinated. I wanted to read about that forever as just a 9-year-old. But then kind of just, you know, went on with life and just thought, oh, I love literature. I love imagery. I loved playing with tarot decks and learning about symbolism, but I didn't connect everything together and just sort of, you know, went along in the stream like everybody else, just going like, oh, that stuff's just whatever. It's fun to play with, but whatever. And then became a mother for the first time at 41. And that was after a very long journey to become a mother, because I really wanted to have a baby and it was very difficult. Come to find out, all that difficulty was not physical, but it was energetic, because at the heart of it all was stress and anxiety. And that was, you know, what was the block in the way that was delaying, or not delaying because it was all in divine timing, but that was making that journey take so long. So then when I sort of received that breakthrough and received the baby, that's when the real tsunami of anxiety came, because that's when I realized, oh, I'm completely energetically and emotionally overwhelmed by this, you know. And you kind of think when you come into that later in life that you're totally prepared, you're ready, you've been dreaming of it, you got every, you know, thing you need in place, and then you just don't expect to be you don't expect to look at this tiny baby and go, oh, you're here to destroy me now.
Yeah.
Okay. So so I was sent into quite a bout with my anxiety. You know, he was a child who did not sleep with any consistency. So I was sort of put into a place of, okay, the only way I'm going to get through this is prayer and meditation. At the time, the meditation was taking the form of self-hypnosis, because I had discovered hypnosis for anxiety recordings and things that I could listen to when he was napping to kind of just, I'm going to be okay. You know, I can do this. Like, you know, and as that was happening, I was praying a lot. I was just, you know, asking for help energetically, even if it wasn't formal. You know, I was putting that vibration out there. I need help.
Sure.
With this. I sort of should be able to handle all this, but I can't, you know, because from the outside, it certainly looked like, what's the problem? But on the inside, it was like, this just isn't I can't do this. So as I did the hypnosis, as I learned again to quiet my brain, and sometimes that can only happen. I mean, we can all learn all day long about meditation's good and you should calm your mind and that's the best way to hear your guidance and blah, blah, blah. But until you're up against the wall of like, oh, this is the only way I'm going to survive. This is the only way I'm going to, then it really happens. So I very earnestly focused my energy in that place. And in combination with that, began discovering things like watching readings on YouTube for my astrological sign, and just sort of receiving messages and going, oh, wow, this resonates for me for whatever reason. This is clicking. And then somewhere around that time, I would get tingles in my body. I would get very distinct messages for myself and other people coming through with those tingles. And that was letting me know very clearly, oh, something has broken open, something has, you know, cracked open. Actually, at one point, this sounds more dramatic than maybe it is, but I at one point kind of fell, had had not been feeling well and passed out, and hit my forehead, and was then the next day or the next week talking to a psychic who said, oh, your guides are letting me know they had to actually physically break your third eye open. And I said, oh, that explains that fall last week. Okay.
Yeah.
And so
That's not the first time I've heard somebody experience that, where they go through something that is so jarring, even a fall or near death experience, or, you know, whether it's a car accident or something, and all of a sudden, boom, their gifts. Yeah, beautiful.
Through that combination of things, the guidance was clearly pouring through, and then looking, you know, I can't emphasize enough how much in your own journey of coming into contact with your guides, other readers, other intuitives, other psychics are so key in that, because, you know, they can say, oh, this is happening. Yes, you're coming into your gifts, and kind of hold your hand. It's really everything. It is so helpful.
Yes.
Even if it's just online, even if you're just watching it or listening to it like this, it helps you so much to go, oh, that's happening to me. That's what this is. Okay.
Yes.
So then before I knew it, I was giving little readings for my mom friends. And then suddenly Spirit had created, you know, this other platform, and people just came together, and it just happened. So
wonderful.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love hearing people's stories. And so right now, you know, the exciting thing, and I think a lot of people too, everybody's doing a lot of revising of their life. We're revising, and we've got to live life differently. And you're doing that too. And we're going to talk about that later on, how really you're expanding your business, and lots of great, wonderful things to come that will be to be announced later. But you know, you have been, I am sure, so helpful to so many people. And y'all, I could tell you, she is even more beautiful on the outside than her voice sounds. Like truly, truly, truly. So I think she's wonderful. So let's get into, let's talk about this topic of expansion and what people can expect. I mean, you know, so many people are going through tough times, and they're dealing with things that they never thought they'd have to deal with externally and internally. And we're hearing a lot about this ascension from 3D to 5D living, and what the heck is that? And we go back and forth between dimensions. And it really has been a very rocky road, even for those of us who tend to be more aware. Like, there's nothing easy about it. So what do you recommend, and what are your thoughts on what we need to know and how we navigate this? And what's also exciting is how we connect with our guide team. Like, how do we really do that?
Yes. Well, thank you. I'm excited to dive into all of that. So first of all, you're right. You know, living consciously and in connection with your guides is so helpful. It's sort of like learning a language when you're in a foreign country, and you could live there and never learn a word of that language and still function. Or you could immerse yourself, learn the language completely, become fluent, and really enjoy life on a whole different level in that country. That's what this sort of spiritual experience is like. You can certainly live the human experience and never sort of touch this spiritual stuff, and have an experience of life that's valuable. But to delve into this, to learn how to converse with your guides, to learn how to understand the lessons you're being moved into, it just gives you such a richness of experience and of understanding. It's designed to enhance your life. I think the misconception that I had, and that so many people have on this journey, is, oh, well, now I'm awakened, so things will be easy. And I can tell you, like you said, you know, those of us who do this for a living, we're human beings, and life is still difficult. However, having that understanding and knowing, like, wow, okay, I know that after every contraction, after every very difficult episode and lesson, there's always an expansion. My guides are always right there with the next thing, and it's going to be good. It just really adds to the whole experience of this life.
How does somebody know they're talking to their guides? Like, I've talked about this topic before, and like I said, I readily admit that is not my area of expertise. Although I know that I have my guides. Archangel Michael, he's solid. Like, we have he's a smart ass too, by the way, but I love him. He's such a straight shooter, and I align with him so much because that's my nature. That's how God uses me. And so I do have my guide team, and I talk to Raphael and Shamuel and Ariel and Jophiel and Gabriel and Uriel. Like, I have my own thing. But how do you know that you're actually hearing or communicating? How do you know
Yeah.
who they are? Like, what's your
Well,
recommendation?
the first step is to absolutely turn it over to your guides and to talk to them first in a very general way, saying, okay, I know and I accept that I have a team of guides. I don't know what they look like. I don't know what their names are, and that's okay. They may be made up of people who have crossed over that I've known. They may be made up of angels, archangels, like you said, ascended masters, um, any number of angels, spirit beings. And it's not important right now that I know exactly. And they certainly on the other side are not going to be offended or
Sure.
upset if you don't know, but to just start talking to them first, even if you feel, like, I don't know what I'm doing, just start talking to them, just start conversing with them as if they were just like right here, just people with you. You don't have to edit yourself. You don't have to make it formal. Just start saying, oh, okay, guys, I understand you're with me. If you think back over your life, you can think of many situations where someone came in and helped you. That was them. And just acknowledge them first. Say, okay, and I am ready to hear from you. There are these 10 key words that Spirit keeps showing me again and again. That's very important with any interaction with Spirit to start with. And it's best if you can start with these first thing in the morning, because your mind is very open first thing in the morning when you wake up. You don't have these mental blocks.
I have written these 10 words down because I listen to it, and I look at it every day. It's literally right in front of me as we're speaking. So I'm glad everybody's going to get to hear this. This is awesome.
It really is sort of the combination on the lock that Spirit has given to open that door. So you start with, and of course it's important that your energy align with these words, that you're not just saying them, but
that you
really
feel it. Yes.
feeling them. And so I don't know are the first three. I don't know, meaning I'm not expecting my mind today to figure things out. I'm not expecting myself to know what I'm going to do, what's going to happen, what direction I'm going in, how this is going to work. I just don't know, because that's surrender. And that's the first step in any interaction with Spirit. Because remember, everything you're doing with your team, with Spirit, with your guides is on their terms, not ours. Thy will, not mine. It's all about what Spirit wants. And that's another mistake we make, as we go in and we go, I want to hear from Spirit, and I want him to send me this sign, and I want him this way. And
oh my gosh, how many times have we all done that? Oh my gosh, yeah.
And it's like, I asked, and where's my answer? And that's all part of it. It's surrendering. So I don't know, first three. Second two are, second three are please show me. So I don't know, please show me. And that's inviting your guides to come in and to start talking to you, because they will. Once you do have to invite them, because we have free will.
Yep.
I mean, our guides can be watching us go through something, and until we ask for that help, it really is not in their energetic flow to just step in and intervene. That would take our lives to a whole different level. That's not what's intended. Our life is intended to be our free will, our choice. And when we interact with Spirit, it has to be from our choosing to do that.
Right.
So we say, please show me. And then next is,
can I interrupt you 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember taking notes on this, and this is important, because one of the things that you said when you say the words, please show me, you said, you can be specific with your guide team and say, I need an unmistakable sign that so-and-so, that I'm on the right path, that I'm choosing the right person, so that I loved that you said that.
That's a wonderful thing to do, because your guides are there to help you. Sometimes we think that, oh, well, I don't want to bother the divine with this. I don't want to bother my guides with that. It's minuscule. There's bigger problems in the world. But it's important to remember that to your guides, you are the main event. To God, to the divine, expressing through you, it is all about you. And yes, there's a whole world outside of you, but that's the sort of unfathomable mystery of Spirit, is that Spirit can attend to all the details of your life and all the details of the world. You don't need to worry about how that works. So
good, beautiful.
You just know that true. That's that song, His Eyes on the Sparrow. Like, every detail of your life is something to ask for help about. And we have a lot of mental blocks about that, because we're conditioned. We are working with every day, being on the Spirit path, but being in a body and a mind that has been conditioned by other humans who are operating in fear, which is limiting, and trying to constrict, not because they wanted to constrict consciously, but because they were fearful that if they didn't, that things would be out of control or bad things would happen, that your mind has been programmed, even if you had a loving upbringing, by all this fear energy that is keeping you from asking for help with even the smallest things, because we're programmed that we should just find the answers, we should figure it out, we should keep our head down, we should not bother anybody, we should just know this. Kind of like me with my situation where I was like, I should really know how to do this, so I didn't ask for help.
Right.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I'm like, be selfish, because like you said, and I wanted to back you up, and then we're going to get to the next several words, y'all. I've not forgotten, and we're going to get back on task. But I always tell people,
everybody's got their pencil like, what?
Oh, like, wait a minute, they need to shut up and we need to finish this. We will get there, I promise. And we're going to say it over again, the whole thing, so you know. But I always tell people, it's like, there's enough to go around. Every single angel, archangel, ascended master, spirit guide, known or unknown, there is unlimited availability. So you pray every day. We pray for everything all the time, every day. So please, we both strongly encourage you to do that. So the first three words, go ahead.
When you're doing that, you are honoring not only the divine as an unlimited provider, because when we align with what you just said, we're acknowledging that higher power can do anything. And when we go like, well, I don't know about this or that, we're basically limiting the divine. We're saying, I don't think that this could be done or that could be done, and that is point. Think of it not as you can shift it from going, well, I can't ask for this for me. You're not asking for it for you. You're asking for it so that you can show how amazing that divine power is. So that you can show and be a vessel of, hey, look what happened. Make yourself a living proof of miracles, so that you are this, sort of this display of what the divine can do. And secondly, look at yourself as a divine vessel. I am holding this divine light. I am this representative embodying, divine energy. And so the more I receive and the more I get and can enjoy in abundance, the more I can do for others in this divine energy. So it's twofold. You're doing it as a testament, and you're doing it as a vehicle and a vessel of that energy. Both reasons to receive more, and ask for more. So
I love it.
Yes, thank you. So it's, I don't know, please show me. Next is I'm ready, because sometimes we can say, please show me, but we're not really ready. And like you said, asking for signs. If you're guiding me, spirit guides, if you're guiding me to quit this job, like I think you are, please show me an unmistakable sign in the next 24 hours or so that is what you're showing me. I don't like to get into like, please show me a blue car or this or that, because then our minds get involved. But if you just say an unmistakable sign, your guides know how to talk to you, and they will be able to show you.
So what does that mean? Let's say you ask for an unmistakable sign and you say, okay, within the next 24, 48 hours. What if people are given a sign, but they dismiss it, or they don't get a sign? So they're on the fence about, gosh, I still don't know what to do.
Right. Well, that's at that point you've gotten into your head, because what's happened is, if first of all, if you're not getting a sign, if you're not seeing it, then it's a continuing conversation with your guides. That's when you say, okay, guides, I did not see a sign. I'm not seeing a sign. And then, well, first of all, you asked for a sign if this was what you were supposed to do. So you can interpret that as, okay, I'm not supposed to do that. And if you need to keep talking to your guides, you're telling me I'm not supposed to do it, so I'm not going to do it. You're just opening that door for them to show you, because if you're opening it and saying, I'm ready for this guidance, your guides are not going to drop the ball.
And you mean it if you really mean it. If you really mean it. Yeah. They will not drop the ball.
And sometimes I will say, Spirit's going to always show you what you need to be shown. So I have had times where I've been asking, and Spirit sort of stepping back and being quiet. And that is because Spirit's saying to me, you know the answer. You know what you're supposed to do.
We always do. We always do.
So it always points you back to what resonates within you. Spirit's never going to let communication with spirit gets so, like pushing a button. Like, I want it to work like the internet. Give me my
Yeah.
sign. Thank you. Like, it's just never going to be.
Oh
But
no. Yeah.
but at the same time, if you continue that communication, you keep it open. You say, I'm listening. Please show me. Okay, I haven't seen anything. I think you're telling me that's, that whatever it is, whatever you feel they're telling you, it's going to resonate inside a certain way.
Yes. Right.
And if you're sitting there going, well, I really feel like I'm supposed to quit this job, there's your answer. Like, you got it. So spirit is just
Quit making it so damn difficult.
Right,
That's really what it
right.
is. It's so simple. And these
They
signs
are
are
very
so
straightforward.
they can be subtle, but they can also be very, very straightforward. Like you may ask for a sign, and all of a sudden you're watching TV, and you see something that says, have you been thinking about changing your profession?
Right.
Right. So it's something
Yeah.
like that, and you're like, oh.
Yeah.
So you got to be aware too. Like,
Yeah.
these signs can come from anywhere, anybody, any place. Beautiful.
And it's also important that you energetically are agreeing with it, because what's happening is, I can give a reading to someone and they can sort of sit there and it's like a volleyball match of like, here's your guidance. They're like, no.
Yep. Oh, I've been
Here's
there.
your guidance. No. And it's like, you can do that. It's your choice.
Yes.
And spirit will be like, oh, you know what? They want to just kind of close off to things, and that's fine. Spirit's not going to take it personally. Your guides are not going to be like, I can't believe she's not listening to me. They're going to just be like, oh, she wants to do this again. Okay. They're going to step back. If you're not really receiving the guidance you're getting, your guides will get quiet, and your guides will be like, she's not really wanting to listen. So, we'll wait till she's ready. And when you're ready, they will come in. When you're truly ready in your energy. So I don't know, please show me I'm ready. And then finally, the last two words are thank you, which is just being very grateful ahead of time.
Yes.
For what you're being shown, not just waiting until you see it and then going, okay, thank you. But thank you that you are already bringing in guides, this guidance that you're showing me today. It's thanking the guides in advance for what they're doing. That's the faith part. Of like, I know you're bringing
behind the scenes. Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wonderful.
I know you're doing this, and I know you're showing me things today, and I am going to have my eyes open and my ears open, and I'm going to be watching, and I will be ready to follow when you show me. Here we go. Thank you. And then just watch your day. Watch what happens.
Beautiful.
It is amazing.
It is amazing. I've done it several times. Literally, it is literally right in front of me. And I think it's so important. Those first three words are so important. I don't know. Because like you said, our mind tries to control everything. And as human beings, we always want to figure out stuff because it creates a sense of certainty, because uncertainty makes most people crazy, even those people who are all about variety and extremes. Still, there are times where, everybody wants to find their own seat at the table of certainty. So the I don't know I think is a very valuable thing to say, because most of us, we are in search of knowing. And so it's a great, beautiful process that you've identified. So let me ask you this, like, one of the things when we were talking about this idea of expansion and ascension, first of all, what the heck is expansion and ascension to the layperson? And what are we going through? Like, how do we know we are actually expanding and ascending versus just going through another crappy, shitty experience? And where do we end up if we're ascending? Like, what is that?
Right. It's all about intention and awareness and what you are bringing to this experience of life. Because like we said, you can't just opt to go through the sort of known cycles and the things that I know I can do this. I know this is where my strengths are. This is where my weaknesses are. And when you opt to do that throughout your life, and you do not want to sort of get on this ascension train or whatever, that is a completely fine option. And there's a lot of
you could choose.
It's a
to
choice.
not ascend.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with that. We in the spirit community, there's some kind of judgment of like, oh, they're not awakened, or they're not. It's no, just you can choose whatever experience of this life you want. If you want to say, in this life, I'm going to sort of just live the human life, and that's fine and valid. And you know what? When you cross over, you could be spiritual all day long. So yeah, do whatever you want to do here. But when you are opting to expand. It's sort of like when you are opting to maybe get a PhD or whatever you decide to do, and you go, okay, well, what comes along with this is I'm going to get into this. I'm going to submit myself to this course, and I'm going to take everything the professor doles out to me, and I'm going to, I'm going to do really good at some of it. Some of it's going to be just too hard for me, and that is what this soul expansion experience is like. I really love, and lately he's been coming back into my consciousness, but Gary Zukov from way decades back, I think he wrote The Seat of the Soul. And I remember way back then, he wrote about the earth as a classroom, and we can opt to learn more, expand in this way, expand in that way. And it's all completely optional. And just like with education, it's for you. It's not for anybody else. You just choose the experience you want. So in the extension, first of all, it's important to know that, because there's not some judge, God's not sitting there going, oh, she didn't opt for that accelerated program. It's all about the experience you want to have.
Beautiful.
And, yes, the part that gets tricky is that we did decide some things about the experience we want to have before we came into this lifetime. So like my soul, was like, I want to do this and that. And so I'm here going, wow, all this is happening. Okay. And a lot of it, I'm like, this seems too hard. But my higher self, my soul has already been like, well, we're doing it, baby. So it's like,
there you go.
Buckle down. So it's a choice, but some of it's already made. But anyway,
yes.
So when you're going through the expansion and the ascension process, that just simply means that you're saying yes again and again to the next lesson, to the next challenge, to the next block that has been shown to you to be cleared, to the next level of awareness to come into about your own wounds, your own power, your own just your own self. It's exploring the universe of you. And, oh, I see this wound over here around acceptance, and I think I'm going to try to clear that. And I see where this belief I'm not worthy is keeping me from experiencing the fullness of abundance. I would like to clear that. And it's all about that. And it's all for you. So we're not in some race to ascend the fastest, or to expand the most, or to become the most conscious. It's all about, what do you choose now? And then your guides are right there to help you with all of it. So it's when you're in those difficult parts of it, and it will get difficult, saying, I need help now. I need you to please show me. I am willing to even more surrender what I thought I knew about myself and the situation, and submit myself even more to where I'm being led. Because
that I love that. I love everything you've said. It makes so much sense. And I hope the listeners really have found that, to finally kind of like demystify all this ascension talk, because most people do not know what that is. Here's another thing that actually came up just now that I wanted to mention. I wanted if you could speak any more on it. We've got the flu season coming up, but we also have COVID. Okay. So many of those symptoms are very, very similar. When we expand and ascend, we don't often know that we are releasing. In other words, we aren't consciously releasing all the time. So our bodies do it for us. Mm-hmm. So, if you're able to rule out the flu, if you're able to rule out COVID, and then you have some symptoms that are maybe all of a sudden you get a congested head, or you're coughing, or your vision is a little blurred, or your body is tired. Those are signs that really your body is doing the work for you, that clearing these things. I can't tell you how many times. I don't get sick very often. When I get sick, I know I'm doing the work. And especially now with the way things are, our bodies really do take over, and they rid us of the energy. And I always tell people, when I do readings or channel, one of the things that happens is I empathically feel things literally and metaphorically. And so metaphorically, right now, for example, my voice is clear, right? But if there's something emotionally and psychologically challenging in a reading, I'll start to cough, or something will go on with my throat. So I know my throat chakra is connected to what's going on with the throat chakra. So that's ascension as well, wouldn't you say? expand?
Yeah, absolutely. Listening to your body. It's funny, we have to work against, in a way, or at least shed a lot of the things we're taught by the physical world, in our physical lives, like we should know the answers, and then spirit say, I don't know, and let go of that. And with our bodies, we're really taught to not trust our bodies and to kind of bend our bodies into submission. We're like, oh, you got a sore throat? Drink this, take this, get this shot, whatever it is, get it under control. And the spirit path is, I'm going to trust that my body is being used to communicate something to me. I'm going to listen to it. Your body is another instrument of how your guides, which includes your own higher self, communicate with you. So like Janis just said, like you just said, when you're in a reading, you'll pick up on something that's happening with someone else through your own body. Your body's being used as a divination tool, but your body's being used as a divination tool for yourself all the time.
All the time.
So, if you're having a headache, when I have a headache, I know that my mind is literally battling something that my soul knows. Or, like you said, with the throat, I've got something I need to speak and get out there, and listening to that, trusting that, not looking at it as, let me fix this, but like, what is this showing me? What is this telling me?
So beautiful. It's beautiful. Yes. Yeah. Love
and you're
it.
right. We can literally feel our chakras. You could, if you have pains in your heart, of course, like you said, go get checked out by the doctor. But if you've got like these just weird aches around your heart, that can be literally your heart chakra opening up, things happening. You've got stomach pains. It's not always something you ate. It could be your creativity chakra activating and things happening in that sacral area. So it's really feeling into, what is this showing me? What is my body being used to show me about what's happening with me right now?
Beautiful, beautiful. I would love for you to explain how you do your readings with cards, and if there's a message specifically for listeners in these last few minutes that we have that they need to hear. And we're into September now, and so with the shift in, we just had the full moon in what?
We have the full moon in Pisces.
The new moon. The new moon.
No, it's the full moon in Pisces today.
Well, full moon in Pisces. Pisces is a water sign, right?
Pisces is water. So this is a moon that is about feeling things very deeply.
God bless America. I'm tired of that, but look, we got to go through it, right? So we're at the beginning of the month. Y'all will hear this recording probably in a week or so. So we're asking Spirit, what does Spirit need to know? But tell people how you do your readings. What deck do you use? Do you use multiple decks? How did you find your decks? I mean, I have my own story about mine. I have 30 decks at least. Tell everybody about that.
And definitely go with what calls to you.
Yes.
I would advise everybody to just get a deck that you think is pretty and start playing with it, or you think it's interesting, and just start playing with it. You don't have to learn a specific technique. Again, turn it over to your guides. Say, please speak to me through these cards. And it's just about what they're showing you. You can literally not read a single word and just look at the image on the card.
Yes.
And get what they're showing you. There's no specific method you have to go through to choose a card. Just feel your way through. And I just, shuffle the cards around. Spirit shows me by just making a card leap out what the message is. And then once I'm looking at a card, messages flow through that are beyond the card itself, but the card is they use them as cue cards for me. So it's like, here's a place to start. And then they flow through, they meaning the guides, flow through a bunch of other messages that go with the card for that person. And I really love Ciro Marchetti. He's an Italian artist, and he makes a deck called the Gilded Deck, which is so beautiful. And that's my very favorite. But if you're getting started, it's wonderful to start with the Rider-Waite.
Is the one you've used with me that the Ciro Marchetti deck?
Yeah.
Okay, got it. That's a great deck, y'all. It's gorgeous. But I agree, the Rider-Waite, that's like the deck of decks. That's the deck to really learn tarot with. And then whatever other deck, if it's an oracle deck, it's different. But with any other tarot deck, just understand, right, there's different artists. They put their energy into their decks. And some people use any kind of artistry, from satanic artistry to angelic artistry to anything that calls to them, Gothic, anything. So just know that, like you said, you're drawn to whatever decks are right for you.
And certainly a good place to start is Oracle decks, because they are, not based in any structure. It's just whatever the message comes through. So what I'm going to do now is just tap into the energy of anyone listening to this at any time and set the intention. And that's another important part about either receiving or giving a reading, that you absolutely set your intention that all of these messages be for your greatest good and highest purpose. And I'm just setting that intention now that these messages are for the greatest good and highest purpose of anyone receiving them at any point in time, and asking what the guides would like you to know at this time. Okay. And so we have the Chariot first.
Oh, wow.
With the Eight of Swords. And this is a really beautiful message, because the Chariot talks about swift movement forward. When I see this card, Spirit gives me the phrase divine getaway car. So it's like, your team has just pulled up in this car out front going, come on, we're going to take you out of this situation, And the situation with the Eight of Swords are all about the mind, thoughts, limitations. And this is about any place that your mind is holding you in limitation, that your mind is telling you, oh, you can't do this, or you can't go there, that that prison of that the I don't know frees us from. And that Chariot is just saying, hey, your guides are coming to take you out of whatever situation it is right now that you're going through, that your mind is telling you you can't get out of, or that you can't find a way out of. And the key is to align with that. Thank you, divine. Thank you, my guides, that even though things are looking a certain way, even though things are looking very grim and limited and like I can't do anything about them, you are taking me out of that. The alignment of that energy is so important, because if we're looking at the limitations, that gives them power. If you're looking at them and you're believing that they're there, then they are there for you and they have power. So much about the messages that come through are about where you see your reality. Are you going, because the universe, God, however you think about it, speaks the language of energy. So if your energy is saying, I'm limited, there's nothing I can do about this, there's nothing that can be done, then that will become your reality. You get to choose that. So this is talking about you aligning with you being divinely taken out of whatever that is that you want to be taken out of, whatever it is that you no longer want, that's no longer right for you. Because, this message has been coming through so much lately. We have the Four of Cups and the Eight of Cups. And this is talking about the stuff we don't want. Four of Cups card is like, no, I do not want that. And Eight of Cups is like, I'm ready to move away from this stuff. So, wow, Eight of Swords, Eight of Cups, this is all saying, you know what, that stuff you don't want anymore.
Excuse me, look at what's happening to me. Wow.
Throat chakra acting up.
Woo.
Because what this is saying is part of the gift of this time for us, planetarily, is that we can see very starkly and very clearly what we do not want, what's no longer right, what's not going to work anymore. We can see that. And then once we can see that and be very clear about it, we can say, thank you to the divine that I am being guided right out of this in ways that my mind could not perceive or come up with. And then you're being guided into the Six of Pentacles, which is about you being able to receive what's right and just for you to receive. So this card talks about you being moved into a place of being able to receive, of being able to come into balance and live the life that you are intended to live, and not be limited by all these things that are no longer right for you. Okay. All right. So finally, the final message for you receiving this reading. Okay, thank you. Would you like for them to know? Final message. Thank you. Okay, so the last message is the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is all about the power of knowing the truth in your mind, which is all about what you say is your truth. That is the reality you're bringing in. So this is that believe it, and then you are going to see it. So very much right now, even more than ever, It's going to be mind over matter. Develop whatever mantra you can develop for you, whatever affirmation works for you. I like to say things like, everything is always working out for me, or things are happening now for my greatest good and highest purpose. This, I know, thank you, guides, that you're bringing me into a place of my life where there's harmony and balance and all of these things, whatever it is that's important to you.
Right.
That's your Ace of Swords. So, I would say to anyone going through anything and trying to come to that place of clarity in your energy, because spirit does understand energy, not words, but the words help us with the energy, is go back to meditations, hypnosis, guided affirmations, anything that helps you solidify in your mental energy, in your arrow that you're putting out there, arrow of desire, rocket of desire, as Abraham Hicks says, to solidify that in your mind.
Yeah.
So that your mind is in cooperation with your soul, so that all of this that's right for you and true for you can be brought in now.
Oh, love it. Love it. Love it. Y'all, I'm telling you, you have got to experience a reading with her. You hear her voice, you hear her messages, and I'm telling you, every time spot on. And anything that you need to ask, your spirit guide team will support her in giving you whatever information you need at the right time. So India can be found at indialeigh.com. That's INDIALEIGH.com. On Twitter at India4777, or on Instagram. And also YouTube. She's got a great YouTube channel where you can go back and listen to messages. And she does this amazing thing where each month she does specific astrological messages using her cards. So please reach out to her. She does in person or in Atlanta, but also remotely all around the country, and is a wonderful resource for you to have in your back pocket. So thank you for being on the show. I love you so much. I'm so grateful. And y'all reach out to her. And as always, I wish everybody a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.